are you?
No slides.
Okay, we can get started. We're running a little behind.
We're all ready.
Thank you.
Hello, does it work? Yeah? Well, welcome to this panel. We're going to discuss how AI in marketing transforms teams and their goals. Let's first start with an introduction. It's always good to know who we're talking to. So I'll begin with the ladies. And maybe in your introduction, integrate something, how AI impacted your professional life recently or mostly in the last year.
So I'm Alexia. I'm marketing director France at Oneflow. Oneflow is doing everything related to contract management tool. And actually, I was more thinking about AI also in my personal life. The first experience I had in my about AI in my personal life was that I was planning a trip, and I discovered that planning a trip and looking for restaurants concerning AI is not so easy because it gives you a lot of information, but it's not always accurate. I was finding restaurants that not even exist anymore, and it's there where I was like, okay, I will use it in my professional life, but maybe I should be a little bit more pay attention on what is AI really what it really gives to me.
Okay.
Alison Murdock from Trusted CMO, based in San Francisco, but work a lot here in France. AI for me, so this is kind of also used professionally quite a bit. We'll obviously get into that, but personally, I think the funniest AI experience is I have a good friend, a man. He said, I need to break up with this girl, but I don't know what to say. Can you chat GPT something? Which I did. I said, here are 3 versions, and then I had to use additional prompts. Think about how to be more nice. So anyway, it worked, and I think he's still friends with her, but yeah, not his girlfriend anymore.
Hello everyone, my name is Cristian. I'm the co-founder at Tekpon. Tekpon is a B2B SaaS marketplace helping people find the right software for their business. How AI impacted my life? I run a podcast, and before AI, I used to listen to the podcast, do the timestamps, do the summary, do the social post. Now I just insert the link into an app. It does everything for me. I love it, but still, creativity is important. So AI is not changing everything, but certainly the small tasks. So yeah. It will be a fun discussion.
Hi, I'm Ben Samuels. I'm CRO at OneMind. OneMind is an AI platform that's creating digital superhumans to support sales and GTM. So imagine a lifelike person that shows up on the website to guide you through company's products in a very natural conversation. So I think that I'm sure we'll get into it, but I think that's really going to be the future of websites and also on complex sales, which we can talk about. Prior to joining OneMind, I was CRO at WeWork. I was there for about 7.5 years. And I think how I got introduced, how AI has changed everything for me, and I got introduced into OneMind was I was actually looking for technology solutions to help us. We run a very complicated sales process, 600 people across 30 countries, consumer, SMB, enterprise, very complex sales. And I was looking for technology platforms. I met the CEO of OneMind at a conference. I became a buyer of it. If there's one thing I was going to do that would transform WeWork as a sales organization was buy OneMind. I transitioned out of WeWork over the summer and I turned from buyer into seller. I ended up on the other side of the table selling OneMind back into WeWork. So I get to reconnect with all my colleagues because it's going to be transformational for how they do sales.
Okay, thank you. So OneMind changed your professional life as an AI example. Okay.
Exactly.
Let's make this a little bit interactive. So some of the questions are for all of you. We have some questions that are specific, but add to each other's answers. Also, if the audience has specific questions, please let me know. I wanted to turn around the topics. So first talk about goals and how AI transforms marketing, and then how should we organize around that. And maybe start with goals, because some of the stories already touched some of the efficiency side of AI and then the human side of AI. And maybe it's because early stages, because sometimes it still conflicts with each other and sometimes not. But it's also in terms of setting goals for your marketing. We are becoming more efficient. So should we set higher goals? Should we have higher conversion rates? Should we have a higher turnover? Should we grow faster now that AI can help us generate leads and engage with customers? Who would like to react first?
I'm happy to comment.
Yeah.
I think that AI in marketing for now is a lot about efficiency and about getting what are almost unmanageable channels under control and moving faster, removing friction. We are asked to do so much, and of course, we need to get to smooth out the buyer's journey, but we've kind of reached this critical point in which this is just too much. So we use it a lot as for efficiency in terms of improving conversions and like the sort of like dream. I'm not sure we're there yet without a little bit more strategy around how we are using AI. Like what would really work in the process to remove friction, to remove work. So the goals are, obviously watch the technology, but be very deliberate about what your expectations are for AI, and don't take it all on. Don't think it's going to change everything you do in marketing.
Okay, but if it's maybe it adds to the vicious cycle of complexity. So also in terms of how we can manage it as humans, because you say, well, there's a lot of complexity, and that AI may help us.
It helps us move faster, that's for sure.
Get a grip on that. Yeah. But also, if you have like mass personalization and all the conversations that are going on, because AI can facilitate that, also it becomes more complex. So it's also, every time we have an innovation in marketing, it's efficiency, but it also adds to complexity.
Adds to the tool set you're using, and then the finance team is losing their minds. Like, why do you have 15 things? Well, we need a different flavor for everything.
And it's also learning using the tools, because it's that is the difference. You can use tools that are making you more efficient, but having the tools is one thing, knowing how to use them is something different, and that is also what we really need to work on to be sure to be efficient.
Okay.
Can I just jump in on the point around friction in the buying cycle, because I think it's a really important one, and how to align marketing to what's needed. So when we think about what a nightmare the sales cycle is today, you're navigating all the product suites, the websites and everything, and then you're getting BDRs calling you, and then the BDRs handing it off, and then there are qualifications. It goes on and on and on. When we're thinking about the future of websites, for example, at OneMind, and our website should be this in about a week, it's just going to be the AI. There will be no graphics, there will be no links, there won't be anything else except the AI guiding you through what it is, why are you here today, and how can I help you? How can I help you get to what it is you want to buy, or at least figure out if it exists in our company? Think about it a little bit like Perplexity versus Google, right? Perplexity will just give you the answer you're looking for without having to click a lot of links. And I think that's where we're going. So what the challenge for marketing will be thinking about the buying journey very, very differently, right? Now your AI is a representation of your brand. So creative becomes super important. You can do anything because this person or this AI is sitting there representing your brand. Tone, character, the words they use.
Even the clothes they wear.
Yeah, I think the
you
marketing.
You won't see the shoes.
Well, yeah, no, you won't see the shoes. But the marketing and the buying journey is going to look really, really different, I think. And that's going to be a massive challenge.
I think, as another marketer, I think that's amazing. Like, creativity is back, and it's about freaking time, because we've been obsessed with numbers. There's nothing wrong with that. We're a revenue marketer, but to be able to shape an experience for buyers that is fundamentally different than having 5 different sales meetings and then meeting with an engineer is a game changer. Like, I personally think. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's also learning from what, like, the buyer journey will evolve, but it's also how we learn from that. So if we take something out of it, it's like what AI will bring us to take the analysis or the results of what we have done in the past from campaigns and so on, and take the results to put them into new campaigns that will evolve and that will be the game changer.
Yeah. Well, a hot topic today is the dark funnel. So that's the pieces of the funnel that you don't see or that you cannot identify. Maybe AI can help us identify the spots in the dark funnel, but isn't it very dangerous to let AI do that? Because as we don't even know it, how can AI know what's going on in the minds of our customers? So maybe Cristian.
Yeah. For example, last night we hosted a dinner, and we thought about how can we get people to post about the dinner. And we had an idea to do a painting from a real painter, bring it to the table, and whoever has the most likes goes home with the painting. So things like this that are out of the box, or stickers, or on the car, or all the things that are out of the box still work, and you cannot replace this with AI. As Alison said, we need creativity, and this, yeah, it's too much noise. You have to be different.
Okay.
I think the dark funnel, you know, I came from Sixth Sense. We sort of invented that early on, and I think it's still a thing, but it's still people, right? And so what we're going to be able to do with AI is move a little faster to, you know, identify maybe at least on a company level who's come to the website, and then we can say, okay, are these people I could sell to? Boom. And, you know, AI can do those calculations and that finding for us. I don't believe it should, like, dig into, you know, personal information. I don't think legally we can, and certainly in Germany, definitely not. U.S., I don't know, but you know, so they're just, again, I would just want to underscore that AI creates efficiencies for us. It's not something net new. It's just faster, and you have to know how to ask for it and how to set it up.
Yeah. Also, maybe there's a fear that AI that takes away the human touch or the personal interpretation of emotions. But isn't it true that salespeople and marketing people also misinterpret a lot of the signs our buyer gives us? So maybe AI is better in being human than humans.
Well, yeah, because
I'm happy to jump on that for just a second. So think about the buying journey when you show up at a website today. What is human about that? You click around a bunch of links, you see an animated video, there's a chat bot down on the side, which is very deterministic. It knows exactly what to say for every pre-programmed question, right? There is nothing human about that buying experience, which is really where probably most of your prospects end up showing up. Now, when you think about a natural conversation that can happen with an AI, you know, agent, for example, at OneMind, there you suddenly are actually developing a human, very natural language conversation to figure out why are they there, where can you get them to, maybe there's no need for the product, maybe it's not a fit, or maybe that 99% of your prospects who show up at the website don't leave their information, you can now engage in a much more human way with most of them. And I think actually what we think is we want to add humanity back into AI, and we think the buying happens in the conversation. And if you're not in a conversation, you're not going to really understand the buying signals as well. And of course, you know, the founder of OneMind was the founder and CEO of Sixth Sense, so she understands everything about buying signals and data, but there's a human element here which I think is really important.
And also, let's just face it, like, we've all bought things, right? How fun is it to have 5 SDR emails just, you know, probably after this conference you'll see it. It's not that fun, and we don't like it, and yet we impose that on people. So, you know, this is why what OneMind's doing is so exciting for, at least for me, removing friction, you know, because we can, it's one, entertaining, but 2, people can buy at the rate they're ready to buy.
Yeah. Well, maybe a personal experience. I get a lot of those LinkedIn requests. People introduce themselves and then they start selling something that I don't want. So I reject a lot of, most of them nowadays. But recently I got one. I said, yeah, this is an exact match with what I'm doing. So okay, I'll accept, and let's have an appointment. An appointment was about how this guy uses a tool to identify LinkedIn profiles and makes personal messages on how to engage. So that was very interesting. But engaging with the customers through an AI bot or AI technology, I don't know. I often have a chatbot which they say is intelligent, and I normally ask, can I now get a human to solve my problem?
Yes.
So. In what stage, or what should you build into your AI marketing activities or customer interactions to make sure that if people do not want to further be serviced by a machine, that they get a person?
I mean, very often when you have some bots, you have some very random questions. So it's something that is very basic right now, like in most cases. But I mean, now what is the further stage will be also to be able to identify like who is the person that is coming to your website and what the person wants, or depending on the title of the person and so on, what she could want from you. And that is the most difficult thing right now, to find out that part. And it's therefore, I think, on the now on the Oneflow website you have also a chatbot, but then you I mean, right at the beginning you can have the possibility to talk to a person, and it's what some people want. So that is really the step that you sometimes just need to add, because it's still also what several people want. Especially in France, we have still several people who are very like human. They want this human link, so we need to keep that part. Very important.
Yeah, I don't think we necessarily trust the chatbots either. You know, like even if you call something, you have to go through a phone tree.
It's not just chatbots, but also email, other channels that you use.
Full of friction, and it's not personalized. You know, if you've at least called the bank and you're pushing like no 3, 5, 7, and you're losing your mind, right? Because it's just so tedious. So I think, in a way, you know, even your experience with LinkedIn, like, you ignore most of that stuff, but they found you, and you were like, oh, hey, this is, and that, I think buyers would accept that, you know, and the problem with chatbots, which is very different from what OneMind is doing, is that they're just ridiculous questions. How can I help you today? I don't know, pay my rent? Like, this is, you know, so it's not intelligent, and that's where we have an opportunity to really think through the buyer's journey, the buyer experience, and how we can make it better for them.
Okay. Yeah, maybe Benjamin, tell a little bit about how that's next level with OneMind in terms of what we are used to on websites today.
Well, I think you touched on it, right? Chatbots is sort of been the big leap on AI innovation, and they're just frustrating more than anything. As I said, they're very deterministic. You kind of get a very stock answer. They're workflow automation, basically. They're not thinking. For those of you who've tested ChatGPT and if you had conversations with Chat, you understand it's a very different experience. So think about a person who we have, you know, photoreal or avatars, who will just have a conversation with you in real time and think about what it is you want to do. Natural language, understands emotion, sarcasm, tells jokes. I did a demo yesterday. I had the chatbot, well, not the chatbot. I had OneMind avatar, we call her Mindy, sell to me. I said, pretend you're a BDR, and I come to the website, and you're from WeWork. Sell to me. And of course, I know the product pretty well. And we went through 5 minutes of her asking questions, qualifying me, showing me locations, you know, talked about pricing, talked about all the add-ons, and then said, great, I'm going to book a tour for you because I want to go see the office. It's just very natural. And so I think that's where it's completely different than what you're seeing in chatbots. Completely different.
If I may add, I'm really curious to see in the room who's using AI in their marketing. If you can raise your hand to see how many people. So half, at least half, right?
But how? How are you using it?
That's the bigger
and
question.
Some probably even don't know that they are using it, but they are using it in many ways.
Yeah, maybe there's someone that wants to share a really good AI use case. You can put up your hands and.
How do you use AI in your day-to-day life
tell the audience,
to make it better?
Yeah, come on stage. Yeah.
So I'm Alex Shevlenko, CEO of Relay2. We are a platform that takes a PDF, which you mentioned is kind of part of the B2B buying experience, and using AI transforms it into a website. Inside it, we immediately add AI chat, which actually looks at the content either inside that particular document or a library of PDFs and other kind of staples of B2B assets. And so you can immediately find the one thing you're looking for that's relevant to your persona or to your kind of problem that you're trying to solve. And it's being used by marketers at Salesforce and by marketers at Accenture. So that's less about us, but to your point, some of those AI capabilities, whether it's transforming the PDF into an interactive experience or the chat, they just don't even need to really think about it, that it's AI. It's just there, it works. And then they get this magical moment of like, oh my God, I just answered my problem that I really cared about it. I didn't need to talk to a rep, didn't need to schedule a discovery call, you know, and then you're building trust all the whole time.
It's an example of making static content like dynamic and personal, right? our
It's
kids.
humanizing. I love what you said about
Yeah.
humanizing. I think it's sort of like what can you do to actually feel like it's a conversation versus a monologue of some sort of paper stuffed inside a screen.
Yeah, it's about meeting the buyer where they are, what they need at the time they need it, and that can be 24/7, right? Anytime they want, and I think it's super important.
I think there was a lady in the back that also had a example. Right? No?
Any other use cases?
Don't want to precise everything. But yeah, of course, like AI now, it's a part of our life. Like personally, like I use it in my work. Also, I use it arranging dates, meeting, information, and also marketing. So I think it's a part of our life. Like we cannot disagree. Like that it's not. It's more like to productivity. I think it's really. Now, if I can imagine before like 5 years or 10 years ago, now we are like, we can multiply 10 times the productivity if we use really AI in the cases that it exists today. So really like we multiply our productivity 10 times than years ago.
Yeah, we have a new generation now growing up with AI, and there will be
I was going to say, what's the new job
yeah,
in
that's
marketing?
it,
Because I mean, in steward of AI,
Yeah.
it would be so cool. That would be the best job ever. I want that job.
You said productivity increases, but there's also the problem of fractional content. So everybody generates the same content with which is generated by the AI tools we use. How do you manage that, Alexia? Or
I think I would take the example also of LinkedIn, for example. When you open LinkedIn, you have like, I don't know how many posts a day that are there on your feed, and actually you see that they all look the same because they all use the same emojis from AI and the same style in English or French or whatever. And I think it's important that you also keep your own language, that you keep all this so that you have your own way of using AI in your daily job and so on. LinkedIn is one example, but it can be actually many ways, also emails and so on. So it's very important.
yeah, the endless amount of blogs that are generated by ChatGPT to get
they all
some
start the same.
search content.
Critical. It's critical.
Let's see in the room how many people use AI to create content on LinkedIn, on blog posts.
I think everybody
So
probably
still
does.
around half.
I checked. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can use it as ID generation, and you can use it as a bad editor, right?
They all start the same. When you look, like I was looking for a blog post and on different topics, and they all started the same with "in a digital world." No. Oh my God.
Exactly.
I was like, okay, no, this is not possible because if people click on this read and
There's also we do a lot of positioning work for companies. Not messaging, but what is the problem your company is solving, and I use it a lot for idea generation or just to understand a kind of a niche market for the company we might be working with, less on the writing side. One of the best tips that I got, oddly enough, on LinkedIn about using AI for content is make sure your prompts are strong. So this person said, it was very simple, think about this thing, like think about using fewer words. Regenerate with 50%, the words that you were using before.
Yeah, maybe you can ask, be original, huh?
Be original. I mean, you can try all these things, but I found that think about and then whatever I was really concerned about works very well. And I'm a big fan of Claude. I don't use ChatGPT anymore because I think the output isn't as good.
Yeah.
But most of these tools now you can train on your own tone and voice. Even brand colors. Like if you use Goldcast, which is a really amazing webinar platform, they have an AI feature. They can take old webinars and turn it into social, and you can put your colors in. You can use your brand voice in it, because this is we don't all want to say critical.
Yeah.
And
And then in B2B, now we talk a lot about mass communication, basically, but also account-based marketing is a big thing in business to business. What's your experiences using AI in account-based marketing projects? What's your
I'm happy to talk about
for WeWork, maybe?
Well, I'm happy to talk about the B2B sales process, probably maybe slightly more than the marketing, but it's all part of obviously the ABM. So, in addition to an AI living on the website, the AI that we're creating is a sales engineer ride-along. So for any complex sales, it can do multiple things, which I think is super important, because what you want to do is have your best salespeople focus on the relationship, focus on the deal, focus on pushing it through and making sure the client's getting what they need. What you don't want them doing is sitting around scheduling a lot of calls, because the lawyer needs, DD, and then the tech person needs DD, and then the procurement people and the finance people, and all you end up doing is basically booking a bunch of meetings that take your sales cycle out probably 6 or 7 weeks. But if you could have what we say, the smartest person in the room on a Zoom call with you whenever you want to answer all the questions on legal, on tech, on your network, on privacy, on SOC 2, that's what we've created. So it's your right along best buddy for your best sales rep. So your C and D players can go. Your A player now just focuses on the relationship with the smartest person there to answer all the questions. And then they can live in the AI can live in the digital sales room, answering questions 24/7. They can live anywhere you need them to live, to always make sure the client's got that technical questions answered when they need it. And I think that's going to be a game changer. And then you think about customer success, personalizing an AI to live where someone's got an issue, right? At WeWork, there's like the heating didn't work and the billing's off, and like our office doesn't work, and, they can't open the door. Imagine 24/7, you just communicate what needs to be done, and you have your own personalized customer success person ready to help.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things about their platform from an ABM standpoint is, remember, we're talking about a very small number of people we're selling to. That's the whole point of account-based marketing, is we're not spraying and praying and doing random acts of marketing. But what I really like about OneMind, and there's some other products that do this too, it goes deep at the account level, like deeper than humans can go. They've, scraped the website or investigated and continue to learn. So every new press release coming out from your prospect at that account is captured. Yep. So you have like a live news feed, sending you information, or you can just go and discover about your customer. And in the sales process, if you're using OneMind and you're selling to Okta, let's say, you know everything about them, and that is very powerful. We can't do that today, really, without a lot of people, a lot of work, and a lot of spend.
And what about predictive analysis? Customers like these use functionality like that, and then use that in your account-based marketing or sales. Have any of you experience with that?
Sure, intent. Basically, that's like what Sixth Sense does, or others. That's showing buying intent, which is a collection of a lot of information from your existing sales, what's in your CRM today, your marketing automation, and then the dark funnel, and those predictive models then tell you who's in market to buy at a certain time. About this. So I imagine there's something coming that automates the alert part of, hey, Okta was just on your website 7 times yesterday, you should call them, versus going into Salesforce and looking for notifications. Just my guess. Don't know. Good. What do I'm curious what others think about the intent.
I talked to Antoinette from Cegid. They use it to analyze what customers use in terms of functionality. Yeah. So if you use this functionality, probably this functionality is interesting for you as well. So you can upsell or cross-sell in customer success.
I think the companies that might be a bit threatened by that are the ones that trade in the technology stack data. So, just trying to think of the name, like Clearbit does this a little bit. There are a bunch, but because that's actually quite powerful if you have a product that, like I work with Lean Data, they work on Salesforce, they don't work on HubSpot. So anybody using Salesforce who has a big enough team could use that product.
A completely new topic, because we have a few minutes left. What should we do with our old marketing team and the people that just can work in the traditional way? How will teams change? How will roles change?
Empower them.
Empower them. I was going to say, I think it's a huge opportunity for new talent, but also like if you have a team of 10, I'm like, you know what? We're going to spend the entire day working on AI and using it in marketing. And those people are like, oh, I don't know, I got to put out a press release. I'm like, okay, bye.
And you will still be the brain. Tomorrow, even with AI, you will be the brain, you will be the person giving the brief, and so on. So that is the most important thing. If AI is doing things for you, it will go wrong. So you still, will have to be the brain. And then for some other, in marketing, for example, at Oneflow, we have designers. And this is something, it's difficult because you have images and so on, and they will be created by AI. So it's actually, you need to rethink some jobs inside marketing,
Yeah.
but I mean,
Well, can you imagine, like in 4 or 5 years, how what jobs will disappear and what jobs will evolve?
I think it's not disappear. It's really evolve. I mean, at Oneflow we see that now our designers, they use also AI, but they learn to work with it, and they are also in the strategy of the campaign. So it's actually the designer is also at the beginning to really think about how we use AI to build our new images, our new videos, and so on. So they are not becoming only operational, but they also in the strategy way more.
Yeah, like I think a designer, like motion graphics, it's kind of hard to find those people. It's a rare, but AI is pretty good at it. So if you feed it the right things, you can actually come up with a pretty snazzy looking motion graphic web page if you don't have Mindy on your web page. But there's some, I think the marketing team can be stewards of these operations versus replacing jobs for now.
So we need to learn, be open, and evolve with the technology, basically. Maybe
It's also getting more competitive, so.
Yeah.
But AI will also help us to work together. I mean, it's also like AI could help us to take data also from sales results and so on and make actually us work better together. I mean, this is really important because in marketing, we take also from the results that we get from sales, which conversions and so on. So it's very important that AI brings us together.
Yeah, well, maybe in Teams to get them ready for AI, you can use AI in your meetings, for instance, and make the summary and the IDs, and have people feel the power of AI in their own team, right? Not so much for the marketing work they do, but how they can work how you can work together more productively.
And I just think thematically, what we're looking at is just removing friction from processes. So if you were in a meeting and you're like, "Hey, I need to put those notes in Salesforce," let AI do that for you if there's a way to do it. Or revenue operations still on spreadsheets. Do we really need that? No. We should have better tools to react to where we are in the funnel immediately, right?
Yeah.
There's no excuse for waiting a week for that information.
I think there will be a lot of jobs, the sort of low value added jobs that are going to be at risk, and I think that's quite obvious. When I look at a sales organization, just pivoting from actual marketing to sales, there are probably, if OneMind is successful, many others are successful, the BDR, who is just qualifying leads that came in from the website, that will probably shrink. But the good news is if the AI is doing its job, you're suddenly qualifying a lot more leads. So when they do come through, your AEs are converting at a way higher rate. So they're doing really good work. Now you're gonna need to double the size of your sales team, probably, because the leads coming in are converting at a much higher rate, and they're busy all day long, but they're not busy on crap. And I think that's what's exciting, is that actually the work, and how many BDRs love what they do when they get on the phone with someone and they find out the person was never going to be a buyer, they misunderstood what the company did, and it's just frustrating. Or when you call the client and you have to reschedule 5 times because they're not available. That's just shitty work.
Yeah, basically it's what we've seen in IT all along. Roles change, and the boring work gets done by technology. Yeah. And the more intelligent work gets done by people.
Exciting opportunities for a lot of people who are ambitious, for sure.
I think it's about time. Maybe your last question or so.
Yeah. I will be coming to you with the microphone. So.
Yeah. The designate.
Great question. 3 tools. Top 3 tools that you use with AI.
I mean, at Oneflow we use Byword to create for content creation and so on. I mean, it's something where you can also add a lot of information, and they have a lot of languages and so on. I think it's a little bit different than ChatGPT, and I love to use it. And a second one that we use, Byword, yes. And the second one I would also pick is that we use more on the sales side, but I use it also in the marketing way, is Mojo. It's really like you listen to calls, so it's recording calls and demos and so on. And afterwards you can have a very powerful AI that is giving you the summary. So in marketing I learn of the needs, and you can have tags and so on. So it's very, very powerful to also for me to know which campaigns I have to create, because if I have a lot of tags that are the same topic, then it's very helpful for me to know, okay, let's go in that direction because many people have the same needs. So I think those are the two most important ones that I use on a daily basis for now. But Oneflow is still a scale up, so it's still very small, and I think there are so many tools right now, and it's not so easy to be able to use all of them.
Yeah.
It's still very expensive.
And maybe, because I think we're over time, I don't know if we have to stop, but...
6 minutes, I think.
Oh, 6 minutes. Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought 30. It was,
More
no.
tools?
But Cristian.
Yeah, I have 3 tools
Name
that I
your
want to
tools.
mention really briefly. First one is Riverside for recording podcast. They can edit it directly, cut the pauses and everything. Second one is Cast Magic from podcasting. Again, does the summary, everything. And last one, of course, ChatGPT, because when I met Alex, I had so many questions to him. He is my mentor, and I had 40 questions per day for him. And now, since ChatGPT appeared, I ask only ChatGPT.
Just send him the summary of your questions. Here's what I think your answers are.
So that's it.
So I think I mentioned Claude. I prefer it. Claude and Grammarly, actually. Grammarly's not as powerful, but just to make sure the grammar's good. Goldcast. So specifically, okay, they do webinars and stuff, but it's this amazing content thing where you have so many videos from your webinars. You're like, oh my God, and they're still relevant. What it does is quickly takes the clip, puts the copy there, and you can post it on social in just like minutes. The other tool I really like is, well, there's Tofu HQ, which is a brand new campaign creation tool. You can do it, if I'm, again, selling to Okta, it's already scraped their site. It's given me a landing page, which is just a snippet of code you can put on your website. It's written emails. It's written, like, I don't know, a sales script, like just 20 minutes, which might have taken 3 weeks prior. Just right in one place. And then I guess bonus is Fathom, which is my favorite recording tool. It does automatic transcripts, and makes it really easy to share links to anyone that you've just done a call with. So, Fathom. Fathom. It's just a video. It's video recording, but it's they have a great transcript and summary tool, and the sharing is really easy. It's not like waiting for something to render in the cloud like Zoom. Sorry.
So maybe I'll just give you one, because I think there's some overlap of what others have said. But for me, I'll just go back to WeWork for a moment. Digital sales rooms were, I think, transformational in the way we sold. For those of you who don't use them, it's basically your own customized little website.
Is that like HighSpot?
Yeah, so there are different ones. We used MindTickle. And I made it mandatory for everyone in sales to be using digital sales rooms, because instead of sending out emails with PDFs and things like that, you post everything in what is essentially a customized landing page or website. You put all your documents there. You can have a milestone game plan with the client. We agree that these things will happen on these dates because you want to move into your office by that date. So working backwards, we have to hit these targets, and everyone signs up for it. And then you can also see who's in the documents, the lawyer, the CFO, whoever. What pages they're spending time on. So it gives you insight into what's really happening. If your champion says, yeah, everyone's bought in and no one's ever visited the DSR, it's probably bullshit and you're not going to close the deal. Yeah. So you need to know that all the stakeholders have been in, how much time they spent, where they're spending their time, so you know where the issues and the objections are going to come from. So I think that, to me, is whether it was small or big, digital sales rooms, I think, are really critical.
3 minutes left. Shall we take one or two questions?
Maybe to
from the room?
finalize the tools. A lot of the tools, just the marketing automation tools, they integrate AI, because now we're talking about AI marketing tools. But I think every marketing tool will use AI in the end, and maybe you don't even notice it. That's AI behind it. But we can take another question. Yeah, sure.
Let's see.
Where have you seen AI gone wrong?
LinkedIn.
Yeah, but blogs, like, it's so obvious. The word seamless, critical, it's so super generic. So that means that they're just churning it out and not paying attention to quality.
For me, I mean, I was using Rask AI for video translation, and the first time I was using that, and I can remember the face of the person, and then it was translating it, and then the voice of the person was looking really so wrong with the person. I was like, okay, we are really at the beginning, and I cannot use something like that. And we have seen like several improvements. Now it's a very good tool actually to translate videos, because it's doing that in some minutes in many, many languages. But I mean, we need to still be careful because it can go wrong if you have something that is not going together.
The translation's not quite there yet, I would agree.
But then again, translation is a lot better than, for instance, Google Translate at the moment. So yeah, well. 1
other?
minute, so.
1 minute.
Yeah. Okay, well, then I'd like to thank all of you for taking
Thank
your
you.
time.
Thank you.
And thank you for the questions.